Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of Extra Cycle. You may be coming across this and a little bit confused as to what Extra Cycle is, and that's what I'm here to explain. So, essentially, Extra Cycle is going to be a way for us to explore our interests and talk about them at length without having the restraints of a typical podcast episode. So, today, Andres, Raj, and Jacob will explore Cobra Kai Season 4 and just talk about it. These episodes will be probably typically between 30 to 40 minutes in length, and they're just going to be relaxed and just talking about one topic at a whole. If they're not for you, please feel free to just tune into the regular podcast episodes, but also I think you can find some gold here. So sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Hey guys, I'm Raj, and welcome to this special episode we have where we talk about Cobra Kai. So for starters,
Yeah.
spoiler warning for anyone who hasn't watched season 4 yet. We know we have some slow people who can't finish Netflix shows really fast. Not to add anyone.
Andres cannot watch shows to save his
I wonder
life.
who. Well, we're not talking about. That's not what
Yeah,
the case
guess
with
what?
Cobra Kai.
What about
So
Money
think
Dude,
Heist?
that's
I finished
cheating,
Cobra
so.
Kai in 4 hours.
Other shows.
Get on my
other
level,
shows,
okay?
Yeah.
I finished it in 5, so I was right there.
Yeah,
I
that's
finished it
crazy.
as soon as I saw Raj's dead.
All right. Yeah.
Exactly.
You
Okay,
guys gotta
so
beat that.
moving on. What are your guys' thoughts overall on this entire season?
I mean, I think it was a good season. Like it really something that never really changes is that rivalry between Johnny and Daniel Russo, and that really showed. Like I knew that once they quote unquote teamed up, that something was going to happen that was going to make their rivalry was going to get the better of them, and that happened. Like I knew that was going to happen, you know. And before I talk about anything else, I'll let Jacob say something to start us
Well, let me
off.
get something, very clear. Cobra Kai is not a very good show. It's not. The acting isn't particularly good. The writing is ridiculous. The plot is ridiculous. It just begs the question: why doesn't anybody just call the cops? Why is it that the Valley is so important? Why is it that everybody cares so much about two dojos, and that's been the thing for such a long period of time? It's more ridiculous than some of the superhero shows I
Dude,
watch
it's
and
just it's
movies
the
and
law of the
stuff.
valley. Karate decides everything.
It is absolutely ridiculous, but at the same time,
No.
I love that show. Like, I don't get it, but I love that show.
couldn't
Like,
agree
there's no reason why the JoJo's should have so much of an impact on anything in this valley. But the show is and the show isn't good, but I love it. It's enjoyable. It
It's
is.
so far fetched. Also, there's one thing I did want to talk about.
There's nothing you didn't want to talk about?
Now,
Okay.
no, something I did in particular that you guys have been telling me for a while now. It's the
Oh,
character
don't
of
get me started on
Samantha
her.
LaRusso. She is a character that I actually used to like, and as the show went on, it just got worse and worse. And now I do not like her at all. Like, does she have a right to not like Tori? Sure, but she is just mean to her. Like, it is just like Tori shows she's truly sorry, and Samantha's mom explains her story to her, and Samantha still will hold a grudge. Like, that is crazy. And we'll talk about the other LaRusso later because
Anthony
I have a lot to say
LaRusso.
on
that little
that.
kid.
Okay.
No, I would definitely agree with that. I mean, I feel like I would say though, I feel like Tori might be, um, feeling sorry and trying to act sorry for convenience because she does need the LaRussos to kind of agree to let her go back to school so she can kind of get her life I guess back together for letter better phrases. But she does make an effort, and you actually have that scene where Sam goes and sees her old friend that got written off the show, and they have that, oh my gosh, it's so nice to see you. This is what I did to make friends, and to I guess ingratiate myself to the community. And then she takes that lesson, and then she goes up to Tori the next day at school and is a complete total jerk to her
Yeah, that was.
for
I was
a ridiculous reason. So
what was the
and
point of
then
that scene?
she's, uh,
Yeah,
There was no point to that scene. It just shows that she just
there was
disregarded
absolutely
everything her
none.
friend showed to her, or just took what her friend told her and spun it on its head and used it in a negative way. And I think that she's shown that she's shown that she maybe could be good, but she's also shown that she can be bad at
I feel
times.
see this is my take on that. I feel like the way they portrayed her this season was a reflection of how like her being with Johnny so much and learning karate from Johnny is a reason like she's super aggressive now and like does not back off or anything because we know before in like season 1 and 2 she was a little I can't say that word but she was like scared of everything and now she's just like yeah I can't wait to fight her.
I think that's a
Yeah.
very good point.
There's yeah. There's another character I wanted to talk about, and I think he was one of the highlights of the season, and it's Kenny. If yeah, I liked him a lot. I mean, it's a shame. I wanted him to be on like the Miyagi-Do side, but it makes sense the way they tied him into being in Cobra Kai with Robbie knowing his brother from juvie, and that all made sense. And Kenny's a great character because he has every right to go on a villain arc. He is bullied. He goes to Cobra Kai. He has absolutely every right, and at the end, he did what basically
Beat
we
the
all want to
living
do. I
crap
think we
out
can
of
all
Anthony
agree on that.
LaRusso.
That kid is probably one of the worst characters I've seen in the shows I currently watch. I mean, this kid has absolutely no redeeming qualities. For example, Arturo
I
in
knew
Money
it.
Heist. He's a terrible character. Yeah, actually, no, I don't want to say he's worse than Arturo,
Dude, he's on level.
but this
He's on
kid
level with
has absolutely
Arturo.
no redeeming qualities. What's wrong with Arturo? We can have that on
I
another
mean, I'm
segment.
saying
But
they're on the same
another,
level. I know what's wrong with him. I've finished Money Heist unlike someone
yeah,
else here.
yeah,
Wow.
Andres. But
Well, anyways, besides the point, from what you're saying, from what you always say about Arturo, and for you to say he's on the same level of him, that means you must really
well,
hate this
beforehand, he's the
character.
type of kid to really not contribute anything to the plot except for being that annoying younger brother that when Sam gets in trouble for things that are reasonable or aren't reasonable, he'll always be like, yeah, ha, take that. And then when his dad, Daniel LaRusso, tries to, encourage him to do something, maybe more productive, all he does is like, no. And that's just is annoying. I feel like his character was meant to be annoying. And then he goes from just being an annoying, spoiled little brat to being the type of kid that bullies somebody that is new to the school, whose dad is in the military, and whose mom we have not seen on screen because she's constantly at the office. His brother is in juvie, and he's completely new to the school, and they not only cyberbully him, but he takes his clothes and he does all this other ridiculous stuff when the kid is just trying to be, he's just trying to make friends. So that kid has literally no redeeming qualities. When he got I'm not condoning violence, but when he, was getting beaten up, I would have been very slow to stop, that fight from happening, or that butt whooping from happening. Rather, it wasn't a fight; it was one sided.
Yeah, and like honestly, this was the top 5 scene for me because we could see that Danny took something from Johnny when he goes into his room, takes his goddamn iPad, breaks it over his knee, and just yells, "Quiet!" Like that was
Yep.
such a good scene to watch, just to see him finally get put back in his place.
Oh, yeah. So satisfying because that kid is just spoiled, and he was acting like he was getting bullied to his parents. But that was satisfying. I'm glad they found out because, man, I hate bullies. And Kenny's a good character. He has potential to be up there with the
Ooh.
Miguel and
Ooh, that's a yeah, that's
kind
a
of.
pretty
I
hot
wouldn't
take,
say the
Andres.
Miguel level because Miguel is yeah, no, I wouldn't say that. I guess he's more of like a lesser tier, like a Robbie. Like I like Robbie a lot, but
Ooh,
It's
that's
also a
Miguel's in
hot
a
take,
category
dude.
of
right
his own
now.
for me.
I mean,
I love Miguel. You think so? I think Kenny's potential
Well,
to be in
they're
the
almost
Robbie
the same
category
character. One's just
for me.
older, and one's mentoring the other. Like
Exactly,
they're both like
which is why.
Anakin-esque characters, and they both and they actually referenced that in the show. I remember I was watching the show, I was like, "Yo, Robbie's basically Anakin." I texted that to Raj, and then like maybe 30 seconds later in the show, they referenced Revenge of the
High
Sith.
ground.
Fantastic. Star Wars movie.
Yep. Yep.
I brought peace, freedom, justice, and security to my new empire. Type beat. So he's just like he's a very they're both very Anakin-esque characters, have all the potential, start off good and then turn evil. And I think that Robbie finally, opened his eyes and was able to see, hey, this guy's, kind of he's been corrupted by me, and maybe he needs to like look internally and say, hey, what I'm doing is wrong. But I will say, how did he not win the tournament though? Robbie is supposed to be that dude. Like he's supposed to be the strongest guy ever. Like, come on. What's your thoughts?
Yeah,
He's a
back-to-back
serial
runner-ups.
loser. I
Well,
mean, back to
yikes.
back.
Losing first to Miguel, then losing to
Yikes.
goddamn Eli.
Yeah, I mean,
Eli
and the
Moskovitz.
Hawk. Yeah.
I don't think anybody
man.
wanted Eli to win.
I didn't
though,
expect
right?
Eli to win.
I would have rather Dimitri win, but I think Eli or Hawk, whatever his character, I liked his character this season. I like
Revelation.
how he had like a whole fall from, yeah, and I think that was they did his character well. Dimitri is the most stagnant character in the show, but he
How?
he got the
I'll just
girl,
ask how.
so happy for him. Like to see we I don't know how, but we like to see the man win, and
Dude,
it's a
Mans
wholesome
is giving everyone
character.
hope.
Tori,
He really is. Shout out to Dimitri.
yeah, no, exactly. What do you guys think about Tori?
I really liked her
I
character
think
arc
Tori's
this
a really
season.
good
Like
character.
they showed how like instead of being that little psychotic or like crazy girl that she was in seasons 2 and 3, how she's like come to the realization of the faults of her action, and she's now like trying to like get back to normalcy, and she's also starting to realize, hey, karate isn't everything. What am I doing to myself? And I think it's really
Yeah.
good what they're doing, and like that dynamic between her and Sam, we could slowly start seeing like we can start like comparing like so who's the real bully now? Because before we all was like, oh, it's Tori, she's the bully, but now the shoe's on the other foot, and Sam's the one who's like tormenting her.
Yeah, I would agree. I feel like this
Right.
season they've definitely shown Tori in a more vulnerable sense, and it's given us, the ability to feel, feel bad for Tori because she clearly has a lot on her plate. Um, you know, Literally she has to, I guess she has to provide for her family, and then I mean that's got to be a lot emotionally to handle. She clearly doesn't have, I guess, the best support staff, or not staff, but system to really, talk things out with about her mental health. So she's clearly dealing with all those things, and then she has to, constantly battle going to school, with the people that she's constantly getting tormented by, even though we were originally supposed to, think that they were the heroes. So I feel like this show is doing a good job of saying, like, who really are the heroes? I guess that's my question. Who would you guys say are the heroes in the show?
I honestly think no one in this show can be considered a hero. It's all about perspective. Like
Yeah.
from the Cobra Kai perspective, we have Kreese,
exactly
who, from our point of view, like we can't. I mean, from our point of view, we see Kreese as this like he is crazy, but from Kreese's point of view, Cobra Kai and what they're doing is he is trying to how do I put this? Like he's trying to like make kids less of a snowflake, and like all those sayings like
He's trying to
yeah, he's trying to toughen
kids.
up kids, and like even in the example of Kenny, like he accepted
Yeah,
Kenny into
fair,
the dojo so he wouldn't get bullied again. He's trying to make them tougher. From his point of view, he's helping them and he's teaching them valuable life lessons. And then he sees Miyagi Do and Eagle Fang. What they do is they're like tormenting them right back at them. So from their point of view, they're the enemy, and then they're the villains. But then it goes the same way when you look at it from Miyagi Do and Eagle Fang's perspective too. We have Danny and his beef with Terry because of Karate Kid 3. And then we have just Johnny's everlasting beef with Kreese after Kreese beat the crap out of him in Karate Kid 2.
Yeah. Now I have a question for you guys.
Eagle Fang.
If you were to join one of the three, which would it be?
Definitely not Cobra Kai because those teachers are crazy. I'd probably have. I mean, that's a tough one. Andres, you can go before me.
Okay, and then I want you guys to give your reasoning after, but I've given it a lot of thought, and the old me would have definitely rocked with Eagle Fang, but I really love Miyagi Doug. Mr. Miyagi is a badass. I love Mr. Miyagi from the Karate Kid movies. He's awesome, and I just love like the whole good vibes surrounding it, and that's just like catching the koi fish. Like that reminds me of Rocky catching the chickens, and I just love that stuff. Like I love that sort of training in movies, and that would pull me into the Miyagi Do style.
That's fair. I mean, I would say I'm gonna have to go Eagle Fang with Raj.
There we go.
Sure. I think it's because like when I played high school football, especially when I got moved to defense, we didn't have like the easiest practices. I mean, relative to other schools, our practices probably were easy, but at the time, it definitely felt like we had difficult practices. We always were kind of trying to outwork the offense, and it seemed like a lot of the stuff that our defense coordinator had us doing was just like kind of like a lot of stuff you wouldn't expect to do, but it would got us in a good position to succeed. We were successful. We never won state, but that's not for I know that's another story. But we are always relatively successful, and our teacher definitely, our defensive coordinator definitely taught us a level of toughness that I guess isn't necessarily completely associated with Miyagi-Do, which is why I would definitely have to go Eagle Fang. But at the same time, our defense coordinator isn't psychotic and manipulative, so I would definitely not have to go Cobra Kai.
Yeah, and same reason with Jacob. I also played football in high school, and like with all the practice and everything, like football did toughen me up. And my other reasoning is I'm not the one who usually like takes the defensive in anything. I'll usually like be on the offensive. Like the one thing with defense, and Jacob knows this is we don't wait to get hit by the running back or receiver or whoever we attack them. Yes.
Yeah.
So
no,
like
absolutely.
I'd rather be on the offensive than play defensive with Miyagi-Do.
Andres, it seems like we got
Yeah.
beef now.
That's what it's about. Yeah. No. Well, actually, at the end, Eagle Fang and Miyagi-Do sort of collabed, so I don't think we do anymore.
And Miguel didn't
But,
break his
speaking
back,
of the
or
end,
apparently he broke his back, but didn't. He would have definitely won the entire thing. Let's be real.
Well, yeah. Like first of all, how's this guy?
He would
I
have
don't
he would have
know.
rocked Robbie.
Robbie was really looking good. Like he got like especially against Kenny, he like destroyed Kenny.
Dude,
like
dude.
After
That's
he
like
beat Kenny, I was like,
Yeah,
"There's
dude,
no
that's
way
like
he could beat
that's like boxing
That's
where
such
you
an
have this
unfair
like
fight. That's such an
200-pound
unfair-
dude against someone who's a featherweight at like 110. Like, come on.
But like up to that point,
Yeah,
though,
that
he had
is
been
not
like
fair at all.
destroying everybody. Like I was pretty
And
confident
so was
that
Miguel.
he was gonna
Both
like.
of them were.
He looked like he got nerfed in between the fights,
And-
though. Like he shouldn't have lost to.
Yeah. No,
I guess Eli at this point because he doesn't have the mohawk and he's had that transformation. But he totally should have won. I mean, I wanted that fight.
We all did.
I did. We all did. But here's the thing. I don't know. I don't know who would win because here's the thing with both of them. They were both going through something mentally. Like you could see that within the character. Like Miguel had that whole thing with Johnny when he was drunk and he walked down on him, like calling him Robbie, and he's like, wow, like, okay, I guess I'm just like a substitute for Robbie. And then Robbie's just has mental turmoil throughout the entire season and the entire show. And they're both going through something. So I don't even know because what ended up being Robbie's downfall, especially, is just what's going on in his head. Like he could have beaten Hawk easily, but his mind is what made him lose.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point.
I still have to ride with Miguel, but
oh, I'm totally team Miguel. I just don't know who would have won. Like Miguel is my guy. I totally would ride with him over Robbie any day of the week and twice on Sundays. But yeah. So, were you guys satisfied with the ending?
I mean, it's an interesting ending. Like, I mean,
it was interesting.
My take on it is like the ending just opened up everything that could happen in season 5 with Chosen coming back. We have Priest going to jail. We have Terry
Hmm.
doing a complete takeover, and then we also have Miguel. We have Miguel running off, and Johnny's probably gonna chase after him. And it's just it opens up a lot of plots because we also have the Kenny and Anthony plot now because we saw how Anthony's now like maybe he might redeem himself. I still hate him, but he might. It would take a lot, but he
It
might
would
join
take a lot
Miyagi
to
Do.
redeem
He
himself.
will.
A
I
lot.
feel like he's gonna. The next rivalry is gonna be the rivalries are gonna be Kenny and
He'd have
Anthony,
to.
Miguel, Robbie, Tori, Sam. Those are gonna be the 3 big rivalries coming like next season.
I hope that
And do we each ride with the same 3 for this? Miguel, Tori, and Kenny?
I mean,
I feel like
yeah,
I feel like Tori and Sam are like a coin flip at this
honestly,
point. I feel like the Miguel. I think Miguel over Robbie is going to be like solidified. Like I think that that's
yeah.
not even a question. I also think the Kenny over Anthony is is solidified because Kenny brought. I mean, Anthony brought almost nothing. To the show for the first 3 seasons. Like he was literally just there being an annoying little brother, and we didn't need that at all. Could have really benefited without that. Would have completely and totally enjoyed the show more. But and then the next season, he's just a complete total bully. And at the end, they're like, "Oh, he's getting beaten up." And he's trying. Season what the first couple seasons, you're like super pro Sam. You feel bad for Sam and all this stuff, but now you're feeling bad for Tori. I don't know. Like that's a tough
See,
thing
Yeah.
about it.
but Sam won that fight though.
Definitely more
We all
towards
know.
Tori
We all
now.
saw what happened with the ref at the end.
Yeah, yeah.
Sam won, honestly, how it's gonna play out next season. Harry has always
Oh
been
my
he has
gosh.
always been psychotic.
For
After
sure.
in Karate Kid 3, this dude was making Danny wood until his hands were bleeding, and he was just like for halfway through this season, I was like, wow, maybe Terry actually did have some spiritual alignment and got off the coke and was like, hey, maybe I'm gonna do this right this time. But Kreese decided to play some trigger words to him. He had some PTSD from Nam, and he's back to being a psycho.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's pretty well put. I feel like he's um I mean, it was surprising how crazy he was, especially with what he did to Stingray. Like Stingray got
Yeah.
absolutely destroyed. He got
Oh yeah.
hospitalized, tried to join. Like think about I want everybody that's listening to take a second to think
Oh
about this.
man.
A guy hospitalized another guy because he wanted to join a karate dojo. Like what? Why is that so? Like why does that need to happen whatsoever? Like it's not.
Because they're fighting for the
The
soul of
It's
the
show
not.
valley,
is
dude.
so
Come
far
on.
fetched.
You should know this.
Oh my
Oh, you're
gosh.
right. You're
But
right.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it's.
yeah.
I feel like that guy is literally crazy. He had such a nice life going for him. Nice house. He's got like he has a partner. I went and like all that stuff going for him, but he decides to throw it all away just to go back to do karate. Like for Cobra Kai, like why would you ever do that? Like that's just point. I feel like that's just so ridiculous. You know.
He's just crazy. I mean, he's a cool villain to have, just like that crazy villain. And the thing about the ending was like I hated Kreese, but not as a character. Like I hate him because he makes you want to hate him because he's like a villain like that. And I thought he was just pure evil, but you actually get to have some sympathy for him at the end just because he gets crossed and like he starts to somewhat realize like, wow, like this is kind of too far. He's kind of realizing that because he does have that soft spot for Johnny, and that eventually like kind of he kind of gets more of a soft spot to Robbie and like Kreese had like a somewhat redemption arc there, and I think that was cool. And Terry's just like pure evil, and I think that's gonna be fun to watch in the
But
next
yeah,
season.
I feel like Terry just wants chaos and like all that just for the sake of it. Like I don't understand like the real motive behind any of it. Like there's no way he could just want Cobra Kai to be, number one for that, like for some arbitrary reason. But at the same time,
For the soul of the valley.
I
That's
mean,
the reason.
Kreese has changed. But like why though? Like maybe I just can't grasp the ridiculousness of this show, but like if it's just from Control of the Valley, okay, you know what? I'll give you that one. But I mean, aside from that, you got what's his name? Kreese. He changed. In the first Karate Kid, we all saw him trying to tell Johnny Lawrence to sweep the leg, or like, to like intentionally injure Daniel
Anything to
LaRusso,
win.
Yeah, anything to win. What happened?
Yeah.
Somebody answer for me this. What happened in when Silver wanted that to happen?
He took a
What
look at
happened?
Johnny, looked at Tori, and said, "Let her do what she wants."
Exactly.
That's a character reformation right there. Yeah, he finally he's starting to realize, wow, have I been this crazy? If I'm gonna win, I'm gonna win like the right way. But we all know Kreese didn't know that the ref was paid off by Terry.
No. But I think who do you think's the most talented fighter?
The most talented, I think Miguel. Or are we talking about the adults?
Wait, are we talking
just
about
the
everyone?
kids and then do the
So
adults
for the kids,
too. Living adults.
I fully think it's Miguel. And for the
Okay.
adults, yeah.
Yeah.
For the
I mean, get that far
adults,
after
I
that
think
injury.
it's honestly it's Daniel LaRusso. Like, come on, like this dude knows how to like take people's ability away to use their arm. Or if he kept using that, he'd be so much more
it's gotta
OP.
be.
What to like? Are you saying like make their
Yeah,
arm
like
go
make
limp?
all their limbs go limp. Like if he used that in any fight, like he wins.
Oh yeah. You know that thing that they have that in Avatar. It's Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's what?
Chi blocking.
What's her? Ty Lee.
Ty
Yeah,
Lee.
Ty Lee. She could do that. She could like destroy an entire like squadron or platoon with like by doing all that stuff. It was weird. Remember she fought Sokka and Sokka just got folded by her, but yeah.
Oh
Wait,
my
is
god.
it canon that
Yes.
Ty Lee invented Miyagi?
It is canon. So that means that Avatar is canon to
Cobra Kai.
Oh my gosh, Cobra Kai.
Oh
Karate Kid
my
universe.
god. Basically,
yeah, so everything
you
is canon, guys.
everything's
canon.
real.
Yeah, I mean, Kick-Ass is canon to the MCU because you have Pietro from Age of Ultron in Kick-Ass as Kick-Ass. And
Wait, are you talking about the bullet shield? Pietro,
what do you mean?
the bullet shield?
Oh my gosh, Raj. Yes, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah,
and then you have the real
Quicksilver and
right?
in Age of Ultron. That's also the same actor, so it's Kick-Ass is canon to the MCU. Proven.
Okay, we're getting way off topic with this. Okay, coming back to what we were talking about, Cobra Kai. What are your guys' hopes for next season?
I'm really curious to see where this Miguel father search arc goes because that's interesting, and I think that I wouldn't say like it's nowhere near like they just forced that in there because it makes sense like how with Johnny talking about his son being belligerently drunk and he was just saying Robbie like it makes sense why Miguel would want to find his father and he knows nothing about his father and I think that'll be really interesting to see. I mean, it sucks that he just left on the tourney like that, but this is something new and I like that. And then I just also want to see how strong Kenny becomes because the kid's got
I feel
potential.
like some of the best stuff that Cobra Kai does is they all have like a character from the past, like movies come back up and reveal themselves, and it'll be some big reveal, and they'll help out like whatever side they're working on. I just don't see how that could happen. Like, I mean, I need to go rewatch
dude,
the
they're
movies,
out of characters. Like when I saw them bring Chosen back, I'm like, okay, they're out of big reveal characters.
Wow.
They're done.
Right. So I can't see them doing that for Miguel's dad or potentially if Kenny's mom comes in the show for Kenny's
Yeah.
mom.
Or
So I feel like that element isn't going to be. It might be a cool, breath of fresh air, but I love that element of the show, having them reveal new characters. So to answer your question, I guess the thing I'm looking forward to most is Miguel versus Robbie part 2. I feel like we got robbed of that. Like it should have been that fight instead of Hawk versus Robbie. So I'm excited for that fight.
yeah, I mean, going off of what you said about how like they're like running out of characters to bring back. I mean, the only other idea I have for a character might be the antagonist of Karate Kid 3, but that's a long shot. If they do bring him back, he might just be an extra or just like a cameo or something. But besides that, what I'm excited about next season is to see what Chosen is gonna do with Danny, because we all know what the bet was. If Cobra Kai wins, goodbye Miyagi-Do, goodbye Eagle Fang. But we're gonna see what happens. I feel like Tori might like fess up and be like the ref was paid off. Miyagi-Do's back. Eagle Fang's not gonna be back because Johnny might be on his redemption arc with Miguel right now. So we'll see. I mean, I'm excited to see what Chosen's gonna bring. I mean, we all saw what happened at the end. Johnny's going to not Johnny. Danny's going to Mr. Miyagi's grave and saying, "I'm sorry for what I'm about to do, but it's time to take the offensive." And we know Chosen knows how to fight Miyagi-Do on offense. So this will be fun to see.
For sure.
I have some predictions. This is what I think is going to happen. So, because Miguel's going to find his father, and Robbie showed something, and Johnny showed something towards repairing their relationship, they're going to get closer. And whatever happens to Miguel and his father, whatever happens, happens. Blah blah blah. He'll come back with or without his father, and him and Robbie are going to make amends. Tori will definitely fess up about the match fixing, and I think she'll make amends with Sam, and it's gonna end up being everyone versus Terry and Kyler.
But are you sure though? Because Kyler isn't like a big.
Yeah,
Are you
that's a
saying you're gonna
reach.
bring up? Yeah, because Kyler's not a big enough character to be the big villain.
Not like that. That was just Terry and whoever's
Like
with
Terry's
Terry.
champion.
That's what I'm saying. Because it'll end up being everyone versus Terry. Yeah, Terry is champion. Whoever is still on that Cobra
I
Kai
dislike
team.
Yeah, no,
Kyler.
I don't like him.
Oh, we all do. He's also someone you just hate.
What was your favorite? I think. What was your most shocking part of the season? I definitely I have an answer right now. So if you guys don't have one, I could
Yeah,
go.
you go. I'm still trying to think because there's a lot.
When
same.
Johnny is trying to recruit that gymnast, he needed to study a bunch of politically correct terminology and phrases. The fact that he could nail every single one of those and add a maybe not extremely politically correct, but somewhat funny joke in at the end. Nailed it. Although she didn't get her as a student, I think that was I thought it was intentionally meant to be funny because it showed wow, a guy like this can it was just a funny dynamic. But it was also shocking because he's probably the least politically correct character on the entire show, and then he just absolutely knocked it out the park. It was just perfect essentially with his or not perfect, but he was really good with his terminology and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, okay, for me, my most shocking reveal, honestly, I mean, I'm gonna be a little I'm gonna take the easy way out on this. It had to be the ending, just cause I mean, I watched all the I watched all 3 Karate Kid movies again recently, last year-ish. I went on a little rabbit hole, finished all those, and just seeing Chosen coming back and seeing what's about to happen, a lot of shit's about to go down, and it's gonna be interesting to see.
Yeah. Well, Andres seems like it'd be scraping the bottom of the barrel right here for the answer.
Yeah. So what was shocking to me, and I think you can say it's not shocking, but to me it was, and I'll explain why, was Kenny just unleashing hellfire on Anthony LaRusso. And I think it's because he's a nice kid at first for sure, and he still is. He's still a good kid. It's just like all that pent up aggression is just building up, and he just unleashes that. But it's still shocking me because he's a nice kid. You'll think that he'd stop at some point and feel bad just based on the character we were introduced to in the beginning of the season, but it makes sense why he did it. It was just shocking me that he just did not stop, and now he's on his villain arc, and it's justified. I think it's justified now, and you guys can disagree with me, but I think it's
That's not a bad
I
answer.
like that.
I wouldn't say it's a bad answer. I have a theory though, or a question, and then possibly a theory based off of that. Do we know how long Kenny's brother is going to be in juvie?
No clue. Because
I think
he
it's
decided
like
to like
a few
swing
more
at an
6
officer
months,
or
something like
something.
that. I think that's what Robbie said.
So, like, what if he comes out of
Yeah.
juvie and joins Cobra Kai and then becomes Cobra Kai's champion?
That will be
Ooh. I could see him joining Cobra Kai 100%.
That might be
that's
Terry's new
good. Yeah,
champion.
I could
Honestly, that's
definitely
a
see that.
pretty good answer.
No. So what if Andrew Garfield also comes in to the the show?
Yeah. They're gonna multiverse of madness, right? Yeah.
He is a big fan.
Yeah.
He is a big fan.
Strange Supreme and Wanda are just gonna start appearing,
Yeah.
and Mephisto. Yeah, let's keep going with this.
Yeah.
Yeah, Daniel actually has a sling ring, and then he opens a portal for Andrew Garfield to hop in.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, before we close things off, I do want to know who are your guys' top 3 favorite characters?
Oh man.
Ooh. I mean, I have my top 3. I gotta go with Miguel, Robbie, Johnny.
I don't have a third right now, but I'd definitely go Miguel and then Johnny. Miguel, I relate to. Justin's not here right now, but Justin and I have talked about Miguel for a while, like a long time, in-depth conversations about Miguel. Johnny, because he's always been there. He was technically the OG protagonist of the show. And then the third,
Yeah.
I can't say Kenny because he's too new. So
You can say whoever you want. Doesn't matter how new they are.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. From what you saw this season,
no,
for sure.
then no. Maybe Hawk. Actually, no.
That's an interesting.
That's just
I was about to say you don't really like Hawk.
No.
That would be
No. I'm gonna go Tori. I'm gonna go Tori.
That seems more Jacob-like.
Okay. All right.
Tori.
Yeah, that's a respectable.
What about you,
pick,
Andres?
Sure.
You're the one who asked us this.
Right. Well, very vanilla pick, but Miguel is 100% number 1 for various reasons. Number 1 being he is Hispanic, and we don't really have a lot of us out there for me. Like we don't have our MCU here yet, but Miguel, we got Miguel coming in from Blue Beetle DC soon. Got to plug that. Hype for that. Miguel is. I also like Jacob. I can relate to him. He's a great character. He's definitely number 1. 2, I think it's got to be Johnny. Another vanilla pick, but you're just always rooting for him. I mean, he was the bully in the OG Karate Kid movies, but you're always rooting for him. He's an underdog, and I love an underdog. Same goes for Miguel. And then 3. 3. Tori. It's in between Tori, Robbie, and now Kenny, because I think Kenny has a lot of potential.
Why not Anthony?
I like the way they did his character, but it's
because Anthony is the worst. He is the worst. He is.
Why not Anthony? I can't. I
he
can't
is
name
worse
one
than
reason why.
Silver.
I think we got our next tier list Tuesday idea right here.
Yes.
I think so too. I think we'll need a different tier specifically for Anthony.
Just menace to society, terrible. No one likes him.
Arturo-esque tier. The kid is trash.
Yeah, that tier. If Jacob said someone is Arturo-esque, then just know
there are a few characters that are worse. There's only like maybe one character that I can think of in everything I've watched that's worse than Arturo. No, actually, no. Vision's not like a bad character. He's not like I don't like him.
We got you. You said it. You said it. Okay, never mind. We got you. Okay.
He's not a bad guy. He's just, just don't like the guy at all.
We could have a whole episode, like I said in the first episode.
This will be his own special. He can just rant about why he hates Vision.
Yeah,
I would give if you gave me like 10 minutes.
Exactly.
If you gave me like on legitimately maybe 2 to 3 minutes, I feel like I could get I could say what I have to say without kind of repeating.
Make a
myself.
PowerPoint too while you're at it.
Okay, fair.
And a whole
I will.
speech.
I will. Yeah. So who's your third, Andres?
Yeah. So if I did have to choose between Robbie, Kenny, and Tori, I would say right now it's Tori. She seemed like an all like bad girl bully, but she's had a lot of development, and I would have
so
to
now
put her at 3 as well.
do a top 3 where you're not copying what I did. I'm playing.
You got me there, but like I wouldn't order it any other way. I did say Kenny has potential after that. I did say
if
that.
Kenny had been in the show for longer,
but no, I can't dispute that.
If he had been in the show for longer, he would have been, probably in the top 3. But he's also shown, his ability to go to, I guess, the dark side. So no.
Yeah, and on that note of dark side, tune in for our next podcast where we speak about Antonio Brown and his journey to the dark side, where he decided to storm off the field. That will be something interesting you guys will want to listen to next week. Thanks for listening to this, and we'll definitely be back with our next show that we will be talking about, which is going to be Money Heist. So Andres, you better finish it.
I have a new assignment now. Yeah, got to do it.
Alrighty.
See ya.